Why is it that the older we get, the more we crave sleep, yet the less of it we actually get? You lie down at 10, but by 1 or 2 in the morning you're wide awake. Maybe it's a trip to the bathroom. Maybe your legs ache. Maybe your mind just won't turn off. And by sunrise, you're more exhausted than when you went to bed. If that sounds like you, you're not alone. And this video might be the turning point you've been waiting for. Today we're uncovering why sleeping through the night becomes so hard after 60, and more importantly, what you can do to finally rest without interruption. You'll discover small changes that bring big relief backed by science and easy enough to start tonight. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from and what time is it right now? Leave me a comment below. Even if it's just a quiet moment in your day, I truly value it. And if this feels helpful so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a future video. Have you ever noticed how it's almost always between 2 and 4 in the morning when you find yourself staring at the ceiling wide awake? It's quiet. The whole house is still. Maybe you hear a faint hum from the fridge or the ticking of an old clock, and yet your body stirs as if something deep inside has tapped you on the shoulder. This is not just coincidence, it's biology. You see, during the early hours right around 3 a.m., your body transitions from deep sleep into lighter stages of rest. Melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall and stay asleep, begins to drop naturally at this time. At the same moment, cortisol, the hormone that helps you wake up, starts to rise quietly in the background. That shift is subtle in your younger years. But as we age, especially here in America where stress is high and rest is often undervalued, our systems become more sensitive. A tiny sound, a change in temperature, or even a light from the hallway can be enough to break the fragile state of rest. Add in a full bladder or a little discomfort in your hips, and suddenly sleep is gone, and it doesn't come back easily. Some researchers at Harvard call this the early morning awakening pattern, common in older adults, and linked to how our internal body clock changes over time. Even your liver and bladder follow that clock. Traditional Chinese medicine has long believed that the liver works hardest around 1 to 3 a.m., and the bladder follows from 3 to 5. Science is starting to back up that idea, noting how organ systems shift in function throughout the night. If you're a retired teacher in Ohio or a grandparent living quietly in Arizona, you're not imagining things. Your body really is speaking to you at 3 a.m. And the more we understand that rhythm, the better we can support it with kindness, routine, and simple habits that truly honor this stage of life. If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night with an urgent need to use the bathroom, you are not alone. In fact, over 60% of older adults in the United States experience something called nocturia, waking up 2 or more times each night just to pee. And while we often laugh it off as just part of getting older, the truth is it affects everything from energy to mood to heart health. Here's what's really happening. As we age, the muscles in the bladder begin to weaken, and the signals between the brain and bladder become a little less precise. Even a small amount of fluid can trigger that uncomfortable urge, especially in the early morning hours when your sleep is already fragile. Caffeine, alcohol, and even certain medications like diuretics make things worse. Many seniors in places like Florida or California enjoy a glass of wine or a cup of tea in the evening, not realizing how it might be impacting their sleep later. That's why doctors often recommend simple but powerful habits like limiting fluids after 7 p.m. or practicing pelvic floor exercises that strengthen control. These changes may seem small, but they can help reduce nighttime bathroom visits and give you back the deep rest you've been missing. Of course, if you're waking up 5 or 6 times a night or feeling pain or urgency during the day, it's important to speak with your doctor. Overactive bladder can also be a sign of underlying issues that deserve care, not just tolerance. Whether you're a retired nurse in Michigan or a grandfather in Texas, You deserve peaceful nights without constant interruptions. Understanding your bladder is not about embarrassment, it's about empowerment, about knowing your body and taking steps to support it gently and wisely. Because here in America, aging doesn't mean surrendering comfort. It means learning to rest well again, one peaceful night at a time. In many American homes, dinner is often the biggest and most comforting meal of the day. But for older adults, especially those over 65, what and when we eat at night can quietly disturb our sleep, even when we don't realize it. You might enjoy a spicy chili in Texas or a salty bowl of ramen in a cozy apartment in Chicago, followed by a slice of pie or chocolate. And it all feels good in the moment, warm, satisfying, familiar. But here's what happens inside your body. Heavy meals loaded with salt, sugar, or spice can keep your digestive system working overtime, while the rest of you tries to rest. Insulin, the hormone that controls blood sugar, responds to that food by pulling glucose out of your blood. Sometimes it pulls too much, especially in older adults, leading to a sudden dip in blood sugar around midnight or 2 a.m. Your brain senses the drop and sends out an alert, often waking you up with a jolt, a sweat, or an anxious thought you can't shake. It's not just what you ate, it's when you ate it and how your body responds in the quiet dark of night. That's why many doctors now suggest eating dinner earlier, around 5 or 6 p.m., and choosing foods that are gentle on your system. Meals rich in tryptophan, like turkey oats or warm milk, help produce melatonin naturally. Pair them with fiber-rich vegetables and skip the heavy desserts, and you may sleep more deeply than you have in years. Whether you live in the heart of New York City or a peaceful town in Oregon, your plate at night matters more than you think. Because in America, good sleep isn't just about counting hours, it's about honoring the rhythm of your body, starting with what's on your fork. In homes across America, from Florida's quiet retirement villages to the snowy suburbs of Minnesota evenings, often in the same way. The TV hums softly in the background. A phone glows on the nightstand. Maybe you're scrolling through family photos or watching the late news from your recliner, thinking it helps you wind down. But the truth is that glow might be the very thing stealing your sleep night after night without you even realizing it. You see, our bodies are wired to respond to light. Sunlight during the day tells our brain to stay alert, and darkness tells it to rest. But when we surround ourselves with artificial light, especially the blue light that comes from screens, it confuses that natural rhythm. Blue light blocks the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps you feel sleepy and stay asleep. Even just 30 minutes of screen time before bed can delay melatonin production by over an hour, making it harder to fall and stay asleep. That's why sleep experts across the U.S. now recommend turning off devices at least 1 hour before bedtime. Instead of watching TV in bed, try listening to a calming audiobook or reading a printed book under a warm amber lamp. Switch your bedroom lighting to a soft amber nightlight, something soothing that tells your brain it's safe to rest. Small changes like these can make a big difference, especially for older adults whose melatonin levels naturally decline with age. If you're in a quiet corner of Vermont or a busy condo in Los Angeles, you deserve nights that end in real rest. In a country that runs on technology, learning to disconnect is not a step backward, it's a gentle return to what your body has always known. Darkness means healing, and rest, true rest, begins with light. Sometimes the thing that keeps us awake at night isn't noise light or even a full bladder. It's the weight of our own thoughts, quiet, persistent, and hard to silence when the world goes still. Across America, from a porch in North Carolina to a small apartment in downtown Seattle, older adults lie awake with the same silent burden. Worries about medical bills, rising rent, or a grown child who hasn't called in weeks. Grief that still lingers, or that ache of loneliness that creeps in after the sun goes down. These feelings are real, and when stress and low-level depression build up over time, they can become powerful disruptors of sleep. Our bodies stay tense, our hearts beat just a little faster, and the mind starts looping through the same thoughts over and over like a record stuck in place. Science tells us that cortisol, the stress hormone, can stay elevated well into the night for people dealing with anxiety or worry. And even if your body feels tired, your brain might still be wide awake trying to solve problems it can't fix at 2 a.m. That's why sleep experts across the U.S. now recommend gentle evening routines that calm the nervous system. Simple things like deep breathing, light stretches, or writing down thoughts in a journal can help the brain shift gears. Soft music, especially instrumental or nature sounds, has been shown to slow heart rate and relax the mind before sleep. And if these tools aren't enough, it's okay to talk to someone. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia is widely available now in many parts of America, and it works. If you're a widow in Montana or a retired veteran in New Jersey, know this: you're not weak for struggling to sleep. You're human. And caring for your inner world is just as important as any pill or blanket you reach for at bedtime. For many older adults across America, staying active is a powerful way to stay independent, feel energized, and keep the heart and joints strong. You'll see it every morning: seniors walking in the parks of Denver, stretching at community centers in Florida, or joining Tai Chi groups in California. But here's something fewer people talk about: when you exercise can matter just as much as how you exercise, especially when it comes to sleep. Working out too late in the evening, even something as light as a fitness class at 7 p.m., can quietly throw off your body's natural rhythm. Exercise raises your core body temperature and increases adrenaline, two things that tell your brain to stay alert. This is great during the day when you want to feel awake, but at night that same alertness can keep you tossing and turning long past your bedtime. Your internal body clock, also called the circadian rhythm, needs darkness, stillness, and a cool-down period to prepare for deep rest. And when you push that too close to bedtime, even with good intentions, it can delay sleep by hours. That's why sleep specialists in the U.S. often suggest scheduling activity earlier in the day. A morning walk around the block in New York or a light stretch before lunch in Arizona can help set your rhythm just right. Even simple movements like lifting your heels, breathing deeply while seated, or walking in place can improve circulation and support deeper sleep when done at the right time. For many Americans over 65, the goal isn't to train like an athlete. It's to live each day with clarity, steadiness, and rest at night that feels complete. Because in the end, exercise should lift your energy, not steal your sleep. And in a country that never stops moving, sometimes the wisest thing we can do is simply move earlier. In the quiet hours of the night when most of America's asleep, something as small as a ticking clock or a draft from a window can feel overwhelming. As we age, our sleep becomes lighter and more easily interrupted. That's not your imagination, it's biology. The brain produces less melatonin and the body becomes more sensitive to the environment. A sound that wouldn't have bothered you at 40 might be enough to wake you fully at 70. Maybe you live in a quiet suburb of Ohio or a condo in downtown Phoenix. You've done your best to make your bedroom comfortable, but still you find yourself waking at 2 a.m., heart racing, eyes wide open. The truth is, even subtle things like a room that's too warm, headlights flashing through the window, or a neighbor's dog barking can pull you out of precious deep sleep. Your nervous system, more fragile with age, simply reacts faster to external cues. That's why sleep experts across the U.S. now recommend optimizing the bedroom environment like you would a garden, gently and intentionally. Lowering the room temperature to around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit can support deeper, more consistent rest. Thick blackout curtains can block street lights or sunrise glare. And a white noise machine can mask inconsistent sounds, giving your mind a steady rhythm to settle into. It's not about making your bedroom silent. It's about making it predictable, safe, and soothing. For older Americans in cities like Boston or rural areas of Iowa, a peaceful night often starts with the room itself. Because when you build an environment that supports your body's natural rhythms, sleep becomes less of a battle and more of a welcome return to balance. And in a country as busy as ours, that kind of rest is a quiet victory worth creating one gentle night at a time. In a fast-moving country like the United States where days feel busy, even in retirement, many older adults go to bed with their minds still spinning. You might spend the evening watching news out of Washington, chatting with your grandkids in Texas, or finishing up dishes in a quiet kitchen in Ohio. And before you know it, it's 10 p.m., and you're expecting your body to instantly switch from busy to rest. But your brain doesn't work like a light switch. It needs time. It needs signals. Just like children benefit from bedtime stories and soft lullabies, adults, especially seniors, also need routines that help the brain recognize it's time to wind down. This is where evening rituals become more than habits. They become medicine. A warm cup of herbal tea like chamomile or lemon balm can calm the nervous system without any side effects. Gently massaging your feet with lotion or soaking them in warm water increases circulation and sends a message of safety to the body. Even turning down the lights and playing soft instrumental music can help slow the heart rate and ease you into stillness. These simple acts tell the brain, it's okay to rest now. The day is over. You're safe. And when you repeat them consistently every night around the same time, you reinforce your body's internal clock. Sleep scientists across America call this the circadian rhythm, and it becomes more sensitive with age. Keeping a regular bedtime, even on weekends, can improve sleep quality more than most people realize. Whether you live alone in Arizona or with family in Michigan, your body thrives on rhythm, and creating a gentle, loving wind-down routine is one of the most powerful ways to protect your health, your memory, and your peace of mind one night at a time. So now let's pause and take a deep breath, because what you've just heard may feel like a lot. But here's the truth, friend. A full night's rest after 60 is not a lost dream, and it's not out of reach. Whether you live near the redwood forests of California or the lakes of Wisconsin, your body still remembers how to sleep well. It just needs the right support, loving, consistent, and gentle. We've talked about the small things that matter, the late-night snacks that stir your blood sugar, the glowing screen that delays your melatonin, the stress that sits heavy in the dark. We explored the rhythm of hormones, the muscles that weaken with time, and the habits that make or break your sleep without warning. And in every one of those moments, we came back to one truth: you still have power. You have the power to choose a cup of herbal tea instead of a second cup of coffee. You have the power to dim the lights, stretch your legs, turn off the phone, and listen to your body's needs before it starts screaming for help. Sleep doesn't come from a bottle. It grows from rhythm, patience, and care. And the more we honor that, the more we wake up feeling not just rested, but truly restored. If you're watching this from your porch in Georgia, your apartment in Boston, or anywhere across this beautiful country, I hope something today resonated with your heart. Because you deserve sleep that feels whole. You deserve mornings that don't begin with exhaustion or frustration. You deserve to reclaim this simple joy night after night. And if this message spoke to you, I'd love to hear your voice. Comment below with the words "sleep better." Tell me where you're watching from, and let's start this journey together. And if this video helped you even a little, go ahead and tap that subscribe button so you'll never miss a message crafted just for you.